here are, I call these ammo crates. If you've played Fortnite, they kind of look like the ammo crates in Fortnite. It's kind of silly, I know. What are in those ammo crates, you might be wondering, is all of my lenses. Some people have like these grandiose cases and boxes and things for their lenses. I have these ammo crates. Oh, it's just a bunch of lenses crammed in here. And I use these koozies. A lot of them are from Urban Tree Cidery, which unfortunately no longer exists. But these koozies are, exactly soft enough to kind of pad them from, really clanging against each other. And what I wanted to do was kind of give that advice. You don't really need to spend all huge amount of money on, some sort of crazy contraption to have your lenses. Just get a box. Get some koozies if you have small lenses like this. Obviously, I've got this big lens over here that doesn't fit. Still haven't decided what I'm gonna do with this and how to store it, but koozies pretty easy to get your hands on. And then just keep it in a temperate location. Don't put it outside in your garage. Don't put it in the freezer. I just keep it in my office. So what I wanted to do today, I've even got adapters here, is go through all the lenses I own. I've got a decent collection and kind of make a little tier list. Think it's a little fun. You might see some lenses that you like and might want to get yourself, or maybe I'll talk about a lens that I have reviewed and you can check out a more in-depth review, or one that I haven't reviewed and you'd like me to make a more in-depth review on. But I'll try to show examples of images that I've taken on each lens as I'm talking about it, so you can kind of see exactly what sort of images you can get with these lenses. And just know a lot of these are really cheap, really budget lenses, and I've gotten some pretty nice, shots on them. You don't have to spend $1 million in order to do something with your photography. All right, I've got 14 lenses that I'm gonna go through and put on a tier list and give you a little rundown on. Let's get it going. Hopefully this is fun. First up, we have the TTArtisan 50mm f1.8. This is my first ever lens that I got when I got my Olympus EPL3. Traded it in for an old camera that I was just not using. It's decently sharp. It has really nice bokeh. Check out some of my first ever photo albums and I'll be showing some of the images here. Honestly, it's really not bad. It's kind of simple compared to some of my other lenses in terms of what types of images it gets, but you really can't complain with a lens that will take images that are nice and interesting, and it's relatively easy to use. I will say the focus pulling on it is a little loosey-goosey sometimes, you're slightly nudged it and suddenly everything's out of focus. That's just kind of the way it is sometimes, but it was a good lens to learn manual focus on for me, so it helped out in that way. It's fine. It doesn't excel compared to some of my other lenses these days, but it's got some sentimentality. It's the lens I fell in love with photography using, so I gotta put it in the A tier. Next up from TTArtisan is the Photoelectric 35mm f1.4. Don't ask me what the photoelectric part means, not too sure actually. And this is my only 35mm lens. I do have other 50s and other wide lenses, and you'll see other telephoto lenses, and we'll get into it. If you watch any of my YouTube videos and lens reviews, this is the lens I use to shoot all of the detail shots. I do use this for video a lot. I actually haven't really used it that much for photography because the times I've used it, I've kind of been left a little underwhelmed, and that's kind of disappointing because I think the 35mm focal range is one that I actually like to use, but something about this lens is just kind of too simple, too just straightforward. It doesn't really have a lot of character. Kind of similar to what I said about the other TTArtisan lens. So I might be in the market at some point to get another 35mm lens that has a little bit more something to it. It's kind of one of those things that's a little hard to explain what are the intangibles, but overall it's a fine lens, but I like it better for its video capabilities more than anything. I'm gonna put this in the C tier. All right, now to the Minolta 55mm f1.9 Rokkor lens. Don't ask me what the Rokkor part means either. This is one of my most used lenses. If you look back at a lot of the work I did, especially last winter and earlier parts of this year, it was pretty much all on this lens. This was one of my go-to travel lenses. I traveled with this lens. It's a Minolta lens that I adapt to my Micro Four Thirds system. Funnily enough, my wife got me a Minolta film camera for my birthday, and this fits right on it. So I've been using this for that as well. And I have another couple Minolta mount lenses as well that I can use for that too. This lens has some really nice soft focus, clicked aperture ring, super easy to focus pull on this lens. It's not too tight, it's not too loose. It'll do what you want it to do. And I think it captures the light really nicely. Not super sharp compared to some other like cleaner, newer glass, but you can still get really usable images out of this and tell stories with it, which is what I've done and got some sentimental value to me now. Of course, now that I've used it and got some of my favorite pictures on, it's no longer my go-to like 50mm lens. It's, you know, it's a 55, same difference. It's no longer that, but I'm still using it with my phone camera. I still use it on my camera from time to time. I just have an easier one to go to, but I'm gonna put this in the S tier. If you can find one of these lenses, definitely worth it. Also looks pretty too with that silver ring. It is great lens. Not all Minoltas are made equal. This is the Minolta 45mm f2 Rokkor-X. Don't even ask me what the Rokkor-X part means. If I didn't know what the Rokkor part meant, don't know what the Rokkor-X part means. I really wanted a 45mm lens. I don't know, in my head, I don't want any zoom lenses. These are all prime lenses, and I want a focal length kind of at all focal lengths without having to zoom. So I was really interested in getting a 40, 45, and in my head, for whatever reason, I thought that was gonna be like a wide lens. I know I'm stupid because 45 to 50 is 5mm, and I was just saying the 55 was basically a 50. Not the smartest shed in the tool. So when I first started using this lens, it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And it's got a kind of a plasticky feel to the build, so it doesn't really feel very substantive in your hands. So at first, really hated it. Since then, I kind of educated myself on numbers a little bit and realized, hey, this is going to be closer to a 50 than it is going to be to like a 20. And I actually went out and I got some stuff that I liked with it. That being said, still not my favorite. The feel in your hands, it feels kind of cheap and light and kind of plasticky. So it's not my favorite. One of the cheapest lenses I own. I'm gonna put it in the C tier. All right, now my Vivitar 28mm lens. This is a Vivitar lens, but Minolta mount, so I also use that same adapter. This was also one of my go-to lenses for a while that has been traded out at this point, but this is an amazing lens. One of my most used lenses. The bokeh on this lens is insane. And also, the lens flares, it's got hexagonal lens flares. It's not the only lens that does that, but it is still kind of a unique thing for a lens to do. Gotten some really cool images with those hexagonal lens flares. I'll show some here, of course. And it's actually rather brilliant. I love this lens. Feels good in the hand. It's kind of heavy. Looks pretty nice too. I mean, yeah, it's sentimental. It's amazing. I've taken some of my most favorite and most unique shots on this lens. Actually, my favorite picture of all time, which I have tattooed on me now, is of my wife, and I took it on this lens. So very special lens to me, S tier. All right, moving on. This lens looks a little small, but give me a second. That's right, it like doubles in size, wink, wink. It is a macro lens. This is a Vivitar 62mm, which is kind of a cool number for a millimeter. For a lens, I don't know, it's kind of unique. f2.8 macro lens. Like I said, I want lenses of all kinds without having to get a zoom lens. So this is my macro lens. It is decent. I gotta say, like, it's all right. It's a vintage adapted lens. Like, you can't expect the whole world, right? It's not that easy to shoot stills with this lens. Like, you really have to be stable, sturdy, and I'm shooting handheld most of the time. Though I could use monopod, but like, come on, like, keep that in mind later, because I do actually use monopod for other lenses here. If you can see something in the lineup that is not the same as the other ones. But I actually did shoot a little short film with this lens and video, and I don't know, I thought it was like a really cool vibe with kind of everything falling in and out of focus. It's a macro lens, so you know, that's what you're gonna get. And I thought it had really nice character in that regard. So similar to that 35mm I talked about earlier, kind of like it more for video than I do for photography. But you know, at the end of the day, it's a pretty decent lens, solid build, construction, everything. I'm gonna put it in the C tier. You're probably not gonna get like portfolio worthy macro images, but it's still decent. All right, another Vivitar lens. This is my Vivitar 200mm lens that I adapt from the Minolta mount to my Micro Four Thirds camera as well. And hate to break it to you, this one's not very good. I got this for, I said the 45 was one of my cheapest lenses. I think this is my cheapest lens. I think it was like $12. It does work, which is good, but it's just not very sharp, not very unique, hard to use, like hard to focus, just it's not very good, all things considered. It was my first telephoto lens. I've got some shots that I like on it more recently, but it's so hit or miss how the light's gonna hit and what you're gonna get, if it's gonna be sharp in focus or like weirdly soft and grainy in a way that's like not actually nice. I don't need like perfect sharpness, but I need a certain level of sharpness to like my images. Yeah, this is gonna be the first F tier lens. Yeah, F tier. Next up, the Rokinon 135mm f2.2. This is my wife's lens. It's a cinema lens that I used instead of that last 200mm as my telephoto variant. It's less telephoto, although this is a Canon EF mount, so full frame sensor, 2x crop factor, 270 something. Same difference. I mean, it is what it is. It's not super telephoto, but it's nice. It's like, you know, you get clean, sharp images, nice bokeh if the light hits right, a more cinematic look for sure. Don't really know how that comes out, but it's a cinematic lens. It's pretty nice. I mean, can't really complain with the image quality. Can just say it's hefty. And it's definitely more of like a video lens than it is a photography lens. And you know what? I've gotten some of my favorite shots on this lens of wildlife anyway. Like there's this heron taking off and heron in the water. Like I got that all with this. I had to be decently close. Like in those images behind the scenes, I am like 10 feet away, which is pretty cool. That's this lens. It is solid, good for like portraits and things like that in crowds and various situations. It's actually pretty good for that sort of thing. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Very good lens here. Another one of my wife's lenses is the legendary Helios 442 58mm lens. I've made a video reviewing this lens before, so check that out if you want a more in-depth take. But all I'm going to say is this does what you think it's going to do. It has nice bokeh, creamy, soily, whatever you want to call it. Bokeh, nice bokeh. Gotta get my keywords in there. I think the algorithm is going to hear me saying that and send you this way. That's the only reason you're watching this video probably to this point. It's a vintage lens. Build quality, hit or miss when you get these. This one's pretty good. Maybe leaving a little bit to be desired if you ask me. I don't think my wife agrees though. So whoever's right is right, I guess. So it's not really my go-to lens for this focal range. 58mm, I'm gonna say the same thing. It's close enough to 50, it's a 50. So it's not my go-to for like the 50 type image, but I've got some nice portraits on here. I like the bokeh. It's pretty decent and it does what you think it's gonna do. And then it's up to personal taste and the individual lens being, you know, up to par with the build quality. I'm gonna give this a B tier. I have to say something controversial, don't I? All right, now to my newest lens. I'm making a video reviewing this lens as well. The TTArtisan 500mm f6.3, heaviest lens I own. Can you imagine that? I mean, look at it. This is way more telephoto than the other telephoto lens I talked about earlier. This is a 500mm, but it's on a Canon EF mount as well that I adapt to my Micro Four Thirds, so 2x crop factor. It's basically 1000mm. I don't know exactly how the math adds up, but you know, it's times 2, so 500 times 2, but I don't know exactly how that translates to the image because I put this lens on a full frame camera and it looked pretty much the same. So I don't know if I did a setting wrong or right or whatever I did. You know, this lens is actually really nice. Decently sharp images. It's a budget lens for telephoto. Like some of these telephoto lenses go for like thousands of dollars. This is $370. So I'm very satisfied with it so far. I got shots like I really liked off the Rokinon lens, but without having to be 10 feet away from the bird. You don't really get 10 feet away from the bird very often. So this is definitely going to bring more consistent, nice images of animals that I want to take. And it's also got, you know, a little bit of versatility. You can take some kind of micro macro shots. I caught a bee, I caught a butterfly, dragonfly, things like that with this lens when I was shooting with it. So really like this lens. Watch the video that I'm making on this lens to talk about actually getting the lens, because there's a little bit more behind the scenes about that. It's not actually so straightforward. So that being said, I'm going to add this to the A tier, straight into A tier. And that is going to be kicking off our TTArtisan run, because we are going now to the TTArtisan 23mm lens. I also made a video on this, and I mean, look at it. It's a pretty neat looking lens with this like silver little design on it. I really like this lens. It is cool to look at. It's very budget friendly. Don't ask me right now. I don't remember how much it costed, but I don't know, maybe 60, 70 bucks when I got this used. This is my everyday go-to wide angle lens. It was the Vivitar earlier, but it's now this one. This is so sharp, really nice colors on it. You can even focus super close here, almost like a macro wide lens. It is really nice to use. Very small, compact system here. The Vivitar is a lot bigger. That's one of the other main reasons why I changed over to this lens. But the color, the character, the way it catches the light is super nice. I've gotten so many shots that I like here that are on this lens that are details and landscapes. Can't say anything better about it. S-tier lens. Check out the video breaking this down even more. Still TTArtisans, of course. I did say we were going to go on a TTArtisan run. My other go-to lens, also with this silver design, I don't know, I like it, but aesthetics are only one part of it. It doesn't actually affect the image quality, but this is a TTArtisan's 50mm f/0.95. Made a video on this lens as well. I don't think it was as good a video as the other one, so maybe check out the other one first. Check out the video I made on this lens too. Support the channel if you'd like. This is my go-to 50mm lens. Beautiful glass, and mainly for me, I don't think this lens is for everybody. I like to shoot very bright images, overexposed. You know, this is f/0.95, about as exposed as you can get. And I think it just perfectly suits my needs at the 50mm focal range. I love the feel. I like the lens cap that's a screw on, so it doesn't just come off if it like gets hit by something. I always find that super annoying. I don't really like the normal like lens caps. I don't know, they're finicky. I like the screw on. I like the magnetized ones that you get with some of these lenses from TTArtisans. Gosh, now I'm just making an ad for them. I don't mean to. If it's wonderfully my goals, I'm gonna make this the other S-tier lens. I've got 4 in there, and they just so happen to all be like my go-to day-to-day lenses at one point in time or current time. So S-tier for this lens. All right, the last TTArtisans lens, I just have 4, I guess, is the Tilt 50mm f1.4. They also have other focal lengths for Tilt. I don't think they have micro four thirds, which this is straight micro four thirds mount, which is another reason why I wanted this. This lens spins and tilts. If you don't know what a tilt lens is, check it out. I did make a video reviewing this lens. Check that out. If you want more in-depth review of this and even more examples of images you can get on here, it's a unique lens. Like, you know, when you're shooting on a tilt lens, you're getting something different. You're getting something more creatively challenging, which I think is a very good thing. Learn its functionality, learn how to use it. I think this is very beneficial to just challenge your creativity. Overall, like, I think this has suited me best for kind of nice, you know, detailed product type shots, whereas like a lot of people use tilt lenses from like high up, try to get like this miniature effect. I really haven't been able to do that just yet, such as life and, you know, where you live, but I like taking it out every now and again and really doing something different. A lot of chromatic aberration on it, but it's budget friendly for what it is. I'm going to put it in the B tier. And last, but I don't know, it might be least, you just have to listen to what I have to say about this. This is super light, 3D printed lens by Pocket Dispo, social media sensation, at least to me, because they kept bombarding me with ads, and then reluctantly, or I don't know, I was actually kind of excited when I got it, so maybe not reluctantly, they won me over. Ordered the lens, it's $50. Took a little while to get here, but it goes directly to micro four thirds, so it can also work like as a little body cap one way or another. It's got a disposable camera lens in here on this 3D printed mount. Like I said, yeah, I did make a video on this lens as well with some video and photo examples, so check that out as well. I mean, all right, I kind of feel similarly to the Helios on this. Like, it's a popular lens. It sort of does what it's supposed to do. Like, one thing that you got to know with this lens is you can't focus within like pretty much 6 feet, which is a bit further than you think usually. Like, if you're taking a picture of somebody of your friends, like, you got to kind of walk across the room and then you're like out of the moment. I don't know. It's like you take disposable pictures for like being in the moment and like this fancy stuff, but you got to kind of detach yourself to actually get the shot that you want to get. They have such nice, beautiful footage in their ads, and they're using like these fancy cinema cameras. I'm not, like, I'm using micro four thirds, which is great, but you know, you kind of lose a little bit of like what you can actually get with this. I keep it. I'm going to use it for, you know, every now and again for like just a cool vibe, try to get something here and there, but I don't know. I think I would feel better about this if I spent $30, not $50, and I would probably give it a better review for just what it is. It's all right. C tier. And that is my lens collection. I hope you somewhat enjoyed watching this video. If you did, if you didn't, I don't know who I'm talking to, but I enjoyed just going through all my lenses. I kind of hadn't really laid them all out like this since I've had all these lenses. I think it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done something like this to just look at everything that I have. And I think it's really cool to collect lenses. For me, it's more about lenses than cameras. And I like my prime lenses. I don't love using zoom lenses. I've made a video talking about that as well. I've kind of mentioned it throughout a lot of videos that I've made, why I like these prime lenses. So, you know, check out kind of my opinions on some of these things. And really, if you want to see a lot of examples from all these lenses, just subscribe to my channel. I'm always using them, posting images and montages of images that I get with these lenses. So it's really good practical, like what can you actually get with this lens if you're considering getting any of them. And I think there's plenty of them here that are worth getting. Anything that I put B, A, S tier, like definitely consider getting them if you're on the market for a new lens of that focal range or in that budget price. I didn't really go into all the budget, but all these lenses, like this is the TTArtisan's 500 millimeters, 370, and the Rokinon. We got it used. It's pretty expensive, but other than that, everything else was relatively inexpensive for a lens of the quality you're getting. A lot of them vintage. I don't know, just explore lenses, explore what stories they can tell. Each one has a different quality to it, different glass, no lens is the exact same. And I think it's a great way of like a different kind of pen to write your story. And this was just a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want more things like this, I mean, I don't really have any other subject matter like this, but I've got plenty of videos. If you want me to review more in depth any of these lenses, let me know in the comment section and I'll probably do it. I might not, I don't know, but I probably will. If I haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more content about photography. Thanks for watching. I've been Tony King.